Thank you.
Thank you. Well, you know what the caller, and I want you to respond to that. But
Well, yeah,
the business about not having town hall meetings. Well, that's why we played the chicken piece on Betty McCollum. So, but go ahead and respond to
Well,
it.
the only thing I was going to say on that point, and probably a little bit of an announcement, this coming Tuesday, October the 5th, at Hillcrest Recreation Center in Highland Park, is the League of Women Voters forum debate between Raphael and myself, which we had to lobby to get this held. There was not going to be apparently a commissioner debate originally, but the good women over at the League of Women Voters have decided to hold this debate. Well, we had this scheduled back in August, Bob, and this is maybe for the caller's benefit too, and on the same point. Mr. Ortega's now called in 3 weeks later and said, I have a family commitment that's come up and I need to shorten the debate from an hour and a half, which is a pretty standard debate format, to 45 minutes, 6:45. And then the latest I had heard was that he's willing to stay till 7. You know, I welcome Mr. Ortega to debate me in any public forum on the issues. I've been to the Pioneer Press editorial board, and we had a behind closed doors debate. I have no problem with debating Mr. Ortega on the topics, but quite frankly, I'll be surprised if he follows through and holds this debate next Tuesday, and if he does, so be it. I'm looking forward to it.
Well, one of the things that the League of Women Voters, when they have scheduled these debates, and one of the candidates pulls that, just give all the time to the other candidate to put out their message. You know, and let people know that we had a candidate that just doesn't care about the citizens, about the taxpayers.
Well, I do think you have to admit it's kind of funny for Raphael Ortega to have a family commitment that's come up. I would think he has a commitment to the taxpayers and the constituents who voted for him for 16 years now in this county to answer to them once every 4 years and hold one debate. I mean, I do agree family is important, but how has a family commitment come up since we already agreed to schedule this, and we both agreed to an hour and a half?
Yes.
It makes you really wonder.
All right, we're going to wrap it up there, and I want to talk about October 4th. You talked about October 5th, but thanks, sir. Good success out there on the campaign trail. Andy Noble, everybody. Thank you, Andy. Well, Andy, where was that at, Andy, that debate is going to be?
Hillcrest Recreation Center in Highland Park on Ford Parkway.
Ford Parkway.
6 to 7.
6 to 7, October 5th.
This coming Tuesday.
This coming Tuesday, and that's at the...
It's an auditorium. It's part of the library, and it's the...
Part of the library right there on Ford Parkway.
Yep.
Okay.
It holds 150 people.
150, room for 150 people, standing room only. Get there early. This October 5th. All right. Well, as long as we're talking about that, October 4th at Maplewood City Hall is going to be the hearing, or a chance for citizens to talk about this such things as the garbage hauling, and even bring up recycling, and we're going to go into that a little bit. But I think what we need to do right now is play that other DVD. We'll play that, and then we're going to talk about some of this stuff. And I want to talk about some. We have a phone call too. Let's play the DVD first. We're going to talk about the Jehovah's Witnesses and the Watchtower, and we have some good stuff. We're going to start talking about bring up some issues about some of these cults, and then we're even going to move into talking about, not this week probably, we're going to run out of time, but Islam and some of that stuff. But we're gonna hit some stuff on the and we're going to tell you why, because they're part of this creating a restraining order, and well, we'll talk about that. Let's play the piece, and then we'll hit number 1 up there. Let's play 1. This will kind of set it up. This is from Monday night's Maplewood City Council meeting.
Awesome concerns. Bob's sick. I don't need to
talk about Inside Insight on Wednesday nights. People know about it. There's
Why would you have to?
several things that concern me. The one, and good evening, Mayor and Council, is the workshop with the discussion of closing 2/3 of the meetings to citizens' input at these meetings. I think that would be a terrible way to go, and I don't think the citizens would appreciate it one bit. Now, the other concern, a couple of the other concerns I have is, well, you had a closed meeting, and I really have, I guess I look at some of this stuff and say it really butts up against an illegal meeting, because any of that stuff that you can get from the Minnesota court website, you get it from open court, you can get it from court records. It's not part of closing down these meetings to the public. And so I think when you close this stuff down, we need to really know. I mean, we're talking about Wipers Recycling and Patty Guerin here, and you know that thing is, the cost of that is just spiraling higher and higher. And I think if the defendants were paying for this stuff out of their own pocket instead of having the taxpayers pick up the cost of the defense of their actions, this thing would have been settled a long time ago. So that's a real concern. The other concern I have is, you know, when you guys have dinner in the back and you have a quorum back there, I don't know, I always thought that was kind of not kind of, but a violation of the open meeting law when you're all together like that. I think that again, pushes up against some of the things that go on around here. Some of the other issues, closing this process down. Once again, we're using restraining orders against people that are up here to address their counsel, cutting off, chilling debate, chilling citizen participation. I know one of the council people, or one of the staff, said that they were going to find a way to deal with some of the issues of the signs on the fence. I think this is just a way of approaching that larger issue. I think it's deplorable.
Is the larger issue when he threatened to shoot us?
Pardon? No.
Is that the larger issue?
No, he didn't do that.
Oh, okay. Really?
You know, this definition.
How do you know? Were you there, Bob?
Were you there? I know the rest of the story. I know the whole story.
We know, because every
know the
Wednesday
whole
night you give
story.
the rest of the story.
And somebody that lives 20 miles away is not a neighbor. So I think you ought to
What does that have
read
to do with
these
anything?
documents, and it leaves a lot, and we will be discussing this in detail,
Oh,
too,
I
by the
bet
way.
you will. You wouldn't want to miss that.
No, you don't. No.
Right, yeah, that
Pretty soon we're
would,
gonna
I
charge
would
you
think
for
that would be a
ideas.
top headline story, wouldn't it?
They're all headline stories when they
Wouldn't it?
come from Maplewood.
I mean, I imagine that you'd probably be going into, you know, which one of the five, 1 of 5, 2 of 5, or 3 of 5, actually were directly.
Well, I think it was 5 of 5,
Oh, you think so?
not 1 of 5.
Oh.
I'm waiting for 1 of 5, 2 of 5, 3 of 5, and 4 of 5, but it happened to be 5 of 5.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
you know, and
now that we've got that
would be
clear.
another. You can't believe another number of people that find it ludicrous that they can't come up here and address you people by name. It
Why
just,
wouldn't they be able to?
and that they can't address staff by name, and that, you know, there's this anonymity up here because let's hide behind not being called out. So.
Yeah, we're getting close.
There's also an issue coming up about election judges, and that I think council should look at too. So
Okay, well, it's good that we've had the update. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for the update, Howard.
All right.
You know, we got the next piece where Rosbach talks about being a little hot under the collar and he needs to take a break. We'll maybe play that a little bit in a second. Let's take a phone call. Then I want to talk about, you know, you notice, viewers, how rude Rossbach and the Rossbach show and the Juniman show is? You know, the citizens have 3 minutes to talk to the council, and totally restricted. And so the rudeness of the Rossbach show and the Juniman show up there, you see it for yourself. You go to talk to your government, and how rude, how rude. I mean, what you can't see is some of the goofy faces that Kathy Juniman makes and her little antics. So let's take the call anyway. And, you know, I want to talk about, you know, what I was talking about there is a citizens forum in the beginning. The citizens forum always was every Saturday, or once a month on Saturday, the mayor and the citizens would come and discuss any issues that the citizens wanted to discuss. It wasn't a public telling put on by the government. And if we have time to play the clips, you got James Lanas, Kathy Juniman, Marv Copen, I think even John Nephew. So you got 1 of 5, 2 of 5, 3 of 5, 4 of 5, 5 of 5. You know, we call them by numbers, and we don't have the cartoon out here tonight. But they want to close down 2/3 of what they already reconstituted as public tellings. So what they were doing is they were parading out a staff member, and we're going to talk about this on Saturday. We're going to talk about this on next. It wasn't anymore about the citizens with the citizens' concern. So now they want to go to the next level and eliminate 2/3 of them altogether. That, you know, this open government. And we're going to talk about the recycling and the garbage, but it goes back to people like Kathy Juniman, who, you know, gets up there and talks about being this great environmentalist, and then turns around and votes for over at the tourist cabins for the developer that they don't have to comply with the new wetland ordinance. Oh, no, that's only for the little citizens, but the developers don't. And then you go down on the southern end of Maplewood by Fish Creek, and down there where the developer wanted to cut down all the trees. Of course, Kathy Juniman voted for cutting down all the trees. So where's the environmentalists there? So, I mean, that's how phony these people are. All right, let's take that call, and then we're going to get into more of this stuff. Caller, are you with us? Question or comment?
Yes, Bob, this is Don from the Scorleone family from New Jersey.
Good.
Who do I cut the check to? Which council member do I cut the check to?
Yeah, they're all. In my opinion, they're all buyable. You know that the pseudo-intellectual John Nephew was talking about that his campaign was less than 11,000, but he forgot to include the 150,000 that the employees union spent to get their people on the city councils. So, you know, these people are quite interesting. All right, caller, what else? Anything?
Hey, I know garbage. Which of the council people smells the most? They're the ones you send the check to.
That's all right. I'm gonna talk about garbage right now. Then you figure out who you want to send the check to, caller. Thank you.
Okay.
Well, we're going to get into the garbage, but you know, I talked about the lawsuit. Patty Gearin, you know, Maplewood's on the hook for several million when I look at this stuff for how they beat her up over at her company. And of course they have these closed meetings to the public, and what I talked about is the stuff that they're talking about is in court records. So why are they closing the meetings to the public? You know, they've been caught, and now they'll keep spending government money